Oh, I'm sorry. Is your team not in the quarterfinals? Because mine is. Okay, you got me. The cigar is fake. I don't actually smoke them. And I can't see a thing without my glasses on, so hold on a second. No, you're not dreaming, by the way. The Miami Hurricanes just beat Texas A&M in College Station in the first round of the college football playoffs, 10-3. And I do want to go ahead and say, right off the rip here, I don't understand how you can say that that was a boring game or that game sucked. Maybe if you're not a Miami fan or a Texas A&M fan, but I promise you that we were all fully invested on the edge of our seats for this entire game. It was just a low-scoring defensive battle, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the Canes come out on top, 10-3. I was wrong about it being a high-scoring game. I was wrong about it being a Carson Beck masterclass. Let's just go ahead and push all of that out of the way. Get it done. All right, there you go. Are you happy? All that matters at the end of the day to me is Miami finding a way to win. You know, it's cool to put up a lot of points and win in a big, convincing way. But here's the reality. We're in the playoffs. All that truly matters at this point is finding a way to win in each game, and you move on. So you can win by 1 or 100. It does not matter. It's set. We know. We are playing Ohio State. So it doesn't matter how much we beat Texas A&M by. You beat them, you move on. You know, and I saw a lot of people, this game is boring. Whatever, bro. Whatever. Where do we even start, though? The wind was whipping out there, 20-plus miles per hour. Carter Davis ends up going 1 of 4 on field goals, which was still really frustrating to watch. You know, I won't lie, I was trying to make excuses for him at one point, and then that one he really pushed wide right. There was kind of no excuse for that. I guess maybe he was trying to overcorrect due to the wind. But it was 0-0 at halftime. I mean, we had 31 passing yards and 38 rushing yards. But to be fair, Texas A&M wasn't doing anything special either. And I gotta say hats off to Corey Heatherman. That was such a massive hire. The defense balled out. You know, Marcel Reed was a quarterback that we were hoping he was going to make some of those mistakes, that he was going to force the ball, and he did just that. He threw 2 interceptions. And one right there to seal the deal late in the game when the Aggies were driving to none other than Bryce Fitzgerald. The young guy's making plays. Bryce Fitzgerald had 2 picks in this game, actually. And I love, hear me out, Malachi Toney is a dog. Nobody can deny that. The Canes fan base absolutely loves him. And it hurt, right? Like we really wanted Dawson, we were screaming in the watch party for him to continue to run the ball because it was working. And I know you can't just run the ball every single down. More on that. More on the run game here in a second. We'll talk about Mark Fletcher. But when we ended up passing and Toney caught the ball and he fumbled, he looked like he was in tears. Literal tears on the sideline because he knows what's at stake. And they talk about, how mature of a young man he is, coming to Miami at 17, just turning 18 a few months ago. And he knew in that moment that fumble was on him. He knew he messed up. And the team was depending on him. So what does he end up doing late in the game? He runs in a touchdown to give Miami the lead, finally, to make it 10-3. Nothing but love for that guy. Nothing but love for you, Malachi Toney. And I love seeing the trust in him. You know, you go right back to him. He finds a way to make a play. There were times, however, still, I think early in the game, Dawson was trying to be too fancy with it. Too cute, I guess, maybe. It seemed like it was a type of game where, it's easy to say that now, but like we didn't need the trickery. We could just line it up with Texas A&M pound the ball down their throats and beat them. But I guess I get the approach given how nasty their D-line is. But, with the run game, we talked about 38 rushing yards in the first half. Miami ends at how many? 175. Mark Fletcher had 172 rushing. That man put the team on his back in the fourth quarter, and it's just insane to watch him run the ball. I kept saying that I wanted to see more Pringle, and I still did, but you can't deny Fletcher's impact in this game, especially late in that game. But just what a wild chain of events in this one. You had Texas A&M faking a punt. They didn't get it, by the way. You had a blocked field goal, courtesy of Ruben Bain, which was absolutely just wild to see. You had multiple missed field goals from Miami. This game was entertaining. This game was fun. It was wild to watch. I'm still trying to process everything, so you're going to have to let me know the things that I miss, of course, down in the comments. But Beck was definitely not great. 14 of 20 for 103 yards. But I still take his stat line over Marcel Reed because Reed threw 2 interceptions. Beck had 0. There's no excuse. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying, Reed did the Reed thing. He put the ball in danger. He put it in harm's way, and it paid off big for Miami. Third downs, that Aggie defense ate us up. Kind of as expected. They had been doing it all season, but we only end up going 3 of 12 on third downs. And like I said, haters can come in here and hate all they want. I don't mind. We got the job done. We won. We move on. So it can be ugly. You can poke fun at Carson Beck. You can talk about whatever you want. We won the game. We won the game. Casey Concepcion, their star player, wide receiver. How many receiving yards did he have? Huh? How many did he have? Looks to me like it says 33 with 0 touchdowns. Oh, that's right. The Aggies didn't score a single touchdown. Oh, yeah, they didn't actually put up any points until the fourth quarter. Oh, yeah. I got to take a little bit of shot, right? Le'Veon Moss, I hope he's okay. We want to see teams at their best, and I know that Aggie fans were hopeful that he would play. He does end up playing. Hate to see a guy go out and go down like that. We had a couple of injuries as well. Hopefully those guys are going to be all right. But Miami, the defense. The defense. I don't know what else to say. The defense and Fletcher absolutely carried this game. A hard-hitting game. You had Teray put his body on the line when he delivered that blow that possibly could have been a touchdown there in the fourth quarter or would have been very close to it. This is real. And I said all week, people said, Coop, act like you've been here. I'll say it again. I've not been. I've not been here before. This is one of the most meaningful games I've got to see Miami play in as long as I can remember. And they did it. They beat the Aggies at Kyle Field. People said, that's not going to happen. That's impossible. You're going to get eliminated. You don't deserve to be here. It should have been Notre Dame. And people were screaming that whenever it was 0-0 at halftime. And I said, bro, we have 0, but so does A&M. Again, you just have to find a way to come out on top, no matter how much it's by. And Miami did just that. I don't even know what else to say. We ended up with quite a few sacks and limited Reed on the ground overall. He ran the ball a lot early in the game, but we were kind of like, hey, if he's going to be sailing some of those balls, if he's going to struggle to be accurate, we'll give him a few rushes. Sure, do your thing, buddy. 3 yards here, 4 yards there. They were converting on third downs early, which was real frustrating, though. But he ends the game with 27 rushing yards on 15 carries. That's less than 2 yards per rush for Marcel Reed, the dangerous dual-threat quarterback. And again, threw for 237, so more than double Beck's yards, but he had 0 touchdown passes and 2 picks. I'm pretty sure we had 7 sacks. I'm going to double check that. We did. We had 7 sacks. Keontae Scott had 2 of them. it was such a blessing to have him back. Again, hopefully the guys that got injured are going to be okay. But what a game to come back in, make an impact. They ended up having 2 sacks to Miami's 7. Like, what am I supposed to do or say other than just stand right here in front of the camera with a big fat smile on my face? Guys, we're going to the quarterfinals. We get a week and a half to prep for Ohio State, playing on New Year's Eve at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. One step closer. Like we said, celebrate this moment. Enjoy it. We made history this afternoon, and so many of us got to witness it together watching the game. So many Canes fans traveled to College Station. Shout out to all of you who did that, who repped the Canes in person there in enemy territory. But we made history. We made it past the first round. It's one step closer, and you can absolutely enjoy it. It was a hard-fought win. It was an absolute battle, a low-scoring game, but we got the job done. And it's one game closer to the end goal, which, by the way, another reminder, is at Hard Rock Stadium for that national championship. And we get that game that we asked for against Ohio State. We said we wanted them. So we said we want revenge, right? We want to pay y'all back. We want to knock you out of a chance to play for a national championship. So here we go. Opportunity to do just that. Let me know your thoughts on it. Overall, I'm very happy with this game. I want to see Carson Beck be better, obviously. And I don't know, it's week to week because we got to break down Ohio State. It could be a totally different approach. But I don't know. I just wasn't really feeling Dawson's play calling at times in the red zone, especially. But it's hard to be super critical when it worked out in the end, I guess, and we got the win. You know, like let me know how you're feeling. This is instant reaction, so I'm still processing a lot of it. I'm sure I'll go back and watch it a second time, maybe a third or fourth time, just for the heck of it, to relive the moment. I'm not dreaming, am I? No, I'm not dreaming. We won the game.